Let me turn to my colleagues now so you can get to know them a bit better, and then we're going to talk more about the event. Susan, we're going to start with you as a founding member of Women's March.
Hi, my name is Susan McGuire. I am a founding member of Women's March. I am originally from Washington, D.C., where I went to college, married, had a career, and raised a family. But my roots in political activism date back to my experience going to college in the Washington, D.C. area in the 70s. The anti-Vietnam War movement taught me to be politically involved and knowledgeable. Today I'm also a founding member of Pine Island Roar, which is a resistance organization on Pine Island that's very, very active. I'm a founding member and I still have a strong leadership role in that. All of these, Pine Island Roar, just like the Women's March, was founded on the bus on the way home from Washington, D.C. after the very first Women's March. Proud to be associated with both of them. Thanks.
Super, thanks for being here. Melissa.
Hello, my name is Melissa Sherman. I grew up in Naples, but I currently reside in Fort Myers. I'm a criminal defense attorney. I worked for the Public Defender's Office of the 20th Judicial Circuit for approximately 10 years. And that was my first real experience, I guess, in a form of activism, trying to fight as many cases as possible in the courtroom. And now I'm taking my activism outside of the courtroom. And I started with supporting campaigns here locally in the 2020 election. And that led to being now on the board of the Women's March.
Great. Thank you very much. And Connie.
Hi, everyone. I'm Connie Bennett-Martin. I am a local girl. I grew up here in Southwest Florida in Fort Myers and raised 3 amazing sons. And I got involved when I started seeing things in my community that were things that I didn't know about and things I didn't understand. Why was this being done? And things that weren't really benefiting the residents. And so from my growing concern, I started going and getting involved and going into city council meetings and attending our county commission meetings. And through all of that, I became a community advocate. I'm actually also a former candidate for Fort Myers City Council. And I continue to work hard towards holding our leadership accountable and creating that level playing field for all. And I work really hard at keeping the community informed of what's ahead of us and how we can make an impact.
3 wonderful examples, democracy in action, for sure. Before we talk about the event, Susan, let's give the audience a bit of a background on Women's March Fort Myers and what it is.
Well, the Women's March movement actually operates on an international, national, state, and local levels. Women's March Fort Myers is our local manifestation of all of the women's marches. It's our local movement, but we share the same goals and values with all the women's marches. All of them were founded after the election of Donald Trump and in direct opposition to his dangerous rhetoric and agenda. What we saw in the last election, the 2016 election, gave birth to a new level of concern and activism, which took the shape of Women's March, beginning with the very first one on January 21st, 2017. Our purpose here on Women's March Fort Myers is to bring light to and advocate for policies and legislation that align with our values. And this can be many times local issues. We have issues here in Southwest Florida that are not the same as issues all over the country. And so we legislate and advocate for that legislation, things like clean water and things of that nature. We also advocate on behalf of people that don't have a voice in our system, the immigrant, the dreamer, the poor, the oppressed here in Florida, just the released felon. So many that don't actually have a voice in our system. We need to speak for those people, and here in Fort Myers, our values represent the majority view, if you take the majority view of all Americans, we represent their values. We don't have the majority view necessarily locally, but as Americans, what we stand up for, what we believe in, represents the majority of all Americans. We need to especially pay attention to people of color and the LGBTQ community, because they've come under special discrimination these past few years. We believe in humane immigration reform. We believe in reproductive rights, universal health care, healthy planet. Above all things, we believe in the democratic way and truth and integrity in political life, things that we have been sorely lacking lately.
We'll be sharing messages that are very dear to us, and hopefully will shed some light on our path forward. We need you to join us for the Work Ahead rally for unity, equality, and humanity.
Thank you very much. It is important for people to come and share their enthusiasm and commitment for the kinds of values that Susan talked about before, because we're not in this alone. One of the things I think a function of these rallies and marches is just to see how many people share these values, as Susan was talking about earlier. And when you see it, you can feel it, and your enthusiasm rises. Again, it's January 23rd, starting at 10. Let's do a round robin with final comments. We'll start again with Susan.
Oh, well, I think this rally is very, very important for a number of reasons, because we cannot stop pushing for our values and working for them. We are watching right now a spectacle of anti-democratic action take place in our very Congress. If we stop our efforts, they will continue. You know, it shouldn't be the case that we have to place equal force against equal force, but the reality is we do. And so coming together and sharing our vision and reminding one another that the work is not over, you know, that we must continue. Women's rights are inseparable. We need to connect those two and keep working toward them, because even if we have a woman vice president, even if we've elected a Democrat, you know, we have massive violations of human rights that it's in our power to correct. Right. So it's so important that we share that message and gain inspiration from one another. So
that's right. The work is never done. The work is never done. Melissa?
Yeah, I just want to echo I loved what Susan said at the beginning about these values being the values of the majority. I think that a lot of the times we get lost in partisan politics, and Women's March Fort Myers is a nonpartisan organization. We support these values, and those values don't have anything to do with being Republican or Democrat, red or blue, elephant or donkey. They're just values that actually most Americans want. Most Americans want healthcare for all. Most Americans want us to be doing more about climate change and about our environment. Most Americans want common sense gun reform. So you know, gun reforms and gun regulations. So we need to continue to have our voices of the people be heard, because right now our politicians are largely doing things for the very few, for the top 1%, for their donors. And organizations like Women's March Fort Myers, or Women's March, even on the national level, are here to remind those politicians that they are in office to represent us, not their donors. And the Americans want these things. We want these big legislation initiatives passed. We need healthcare. I think we've all seen that from COVID. There's no reason that we shouldn't be getting better healthcare for Americans, especially at a time like this.
Absolutely. We'll give you the last word, Connie.
Oh, I love the last word. Well, unity, equality, humanity. It doesn't get any simpler than that. And we need every single one of you to be here to celebrate. And we're still going to need you to help us to shine that light into the darkness and ensure that America truly is the land of the free and the home of the brave. We need to protect democracy. put aside our differences and work together. We need your voice to protect our social services and support programs, our mental health, veteran, senior, our homeless housing, women's rights, equality, and a livable wage for all. We need your passion to protect our water and our environment and our quality of life. We need your help by helping us to address the issues from our local to our federal levels. And we can only be better if you become a part of the we. So bring your signs, bring your energy, bring your excitement, and get ready for the great days ahead of us.
Thank you, Connie. Wow. So very well stated. All three of you. And the audience, I think, can certainly sense and see the enthusiasm and the passion that my colleagues have for this work, and they're not alone. So again, this is an opportunity for all of you. Saturday, January 23rd, more information at our website and also on Facebook. And we'll have that information on a visual you'll be able to see at the very end in just a few seconds. So you can jot that down. Thank you, all three of you, for being here, Susan, Melissa, and Connie. Thank you for watching, and we hope to see you January 23rd at 10 a.m. Take care, everyone.